Welcome to this how-to on the mobile version of Gates Design Flex Pro, our industry standard 2-point drive design tool now offered as a module within the new Gates Design Power mobile application. My name is Gabe and I'm a product fatigue engineer with Gates. Let's start by defining Design Flex Pro. DF Pro is Gates' 2-point drive design module. It works with limited inputs and suggests solutions from among one or more user-selectable Gates products. DF Pro can also provide design details for fully defined, known, or existing drives. This Gates tool is now optimized for mobile devices within our free Gates Design Power mobile app. After many years as a standalone application, we migrated Design Flex Pro into our Design Power PC app in 2022. Now, we're pleased to offer you the same calculations and product data on your mobile device. Let's look at a use example. We have a similar video for the desktop version of DF Pro, and I'll work through the same examples to keep everything consistent and to show the power of the mobile app. Let's assume that as a mechanical engineer, I've received a customer request from the fictitious Acme Lumber Company, and they're looking for a replacement belt for their large bandsaw. They've given me some specifics about the application, including motor horsepower and speed, along with some details about the driver and driven pulleys, the shafts they mount on, and the space that they must fit into. They've given me a center distance and tolerance, and they've given me some information about the pulleys that they currently have installed onto which we'll need to fit this replacement belt. They've also said they likely will need a full drive replacement next time around and asked us to quote that. For this, they've said the driven shaft speed can vary within plus or minus 10% of their current drive. This will serve as a great example for us to show some of the capabilities of Design Flex Pro and how it can recommend all those possible solutions for a 2-point drive. Let's get into Design Power Mobile and get started. If you need help with downloading or installing the app, see our app intro and facility management video linked in the description. Here on the home screen, I'll select the Design Flex Pro module and we'll see something that looks like our PC version. There are some differences in how we work with it. One key difference that I'll explore now is the hamburger-style menu button. Here, you'll see some familiar functions from the PC application, including the ability to change the unit scheme among preloaded metric and US customary schemes and any number of user-created schemes. You can also add, edit, and delete customer information to display on your drive detail report header. More to come on that in a few moments. We have some additional options for the DF Pro module, and note that you can change your regional product market in design settings. I also want to draw your attention to the Clear button and the Design button. More on their functionality in a moment. Now that we're familiar with DF Pro in Design Power Mobile, let's get started on that customer request. For the sake of this example, I'm going to start with the full drive replacement, then move on to the replacement belt. The first step is to select products to design with. Notice the parenthetical number next to selected belts. This indicates the number of individual products that are in scope for this design. DF Pro in GDP Mobile defaults to design with all recommended Gates products, those shown in bold on the list, to make the design process as simple as possible for newer users. Tap on the Selected Belts button to alter selections. Back on the main input screen, you can also tap the Clear button to unselect all belts. For this example, I'm going to use the default and see what DF Pro recommends for me. So, I'm going to fill in all the information I have on my drive. Note that most of the fields include default values. You can change those or keep them if they work for you or you're not sure what to enter. You can always come back to change them. One more navigation note. To move within DF Pro, You can swipe the screen or tap the header of the section you'd like to work with. So, let's start with the Driver tab. We'll enter our customer's provided information, including the 20 horsepower and 1750 RPM motor speed. I'll leave efficiency alone and move on to service factor. Service factor can be a bit tricky to just know off the top of your head, so we do offer a help function. We use service factor to account for environmental conditions, irregular loading, debris, things like that. So I'll tap that Help button and we'll see this tool. I'll select my driven machine, and if I scroll all the way down, I see Sawmill Equipment. Note that if your exact machine isn't listed here, you can pick the closest one. Next, we need to select our driver/motor type. In this case, I'm picking normal torque AC motor. Lastly, I get to pick my service type, and I'll select normal based on the 8 to 16 hour daily time frame. And I'll hit apply. Note that on the PC version of GDP, you can see the full table behind this help tool. And we can see the V-belt and sync belt service factor values have been updated. I'll swipe over to the Drive Detail tab and enter the customer's center distance of 32 inches, as well as their tolerance of plus or minus 2 inches. Note here that I'll enter the bounds of the tolerance. If applicable, you can enter your tolerance as a percentage after the nominal value. I'll tap the Driven tab. In the background, I calculated the speed ratio of the existing drive to be 2.25, so I'll enter that and my 10% tolerance. Now, within the Advanced input screen, I'm going to enter some more details. You'll see that Advanced is set up with tabs, just like the basic inputs. Under Driver, I'll enter the shaft size of 1.25 inches and max pulley OD of 10 inches. I don't have a gearbox or any other motor details, so I'm going to swipe over to Drive Detail. Here, you can enter specifics related to the bushing and pulleys. I don't have anything to enter here, so I'll swipe again to Driven and enter the 2-inch shaft diameter and the 30-inch max driven pulley OD. I'm going to hit the back arrow, and then I'll tap the Design button, which looks like a calculator. Since I've filled in all my known drive constraints and tapped Design, DF Pro is going to recommend solutions meeting my requirements. Here on the Solution Summary screen, GDP shows all those drives. Use the tabs at the top to view sync or V-belt results. Tap buttons at the top of the screen to view your results in a different format. I've selected to view mine as a list. Tap Solutions Containing to view or hide drives with special considerations like non-stock parts. Check or uncheck these boxes as desired. Results will show up in colored highlight on the solution list. These will be visible depending on your user rights level. Please contact Gates Application Engineering, email address in this video's description, if you have any questions about these non-standard drives. Tap the Arrows button to sort drives on numerous factors like product line, width, difference from desired RPM, etc. In this case, it's already sorted based on lowest cost, so I will leave this alone. I can select a couple drives I'm interested in using the checkboxes, and then I can print a report summarizing those selected drives. I can do the same thing with all drives. I won't move to the report here because I have so many drives available. Now, I want to open a drive detail report for the drive I want to send to my customer, so I'll simply tap the printer icon on my lowest cost result. The mobile app allows you to view and work with all potential drives here on the Solution Summary screen. Now that we have that report open, let's talk about how to work with it. First, we'll cover navigation. GDP Mobile includes a full-function PDF viewer. You can zoom in and out using the buttons at the top. If you tap the arrows to the right, you'll see options to export and print the report, as well as other tools for manipulating the view of the PDF file. While we're here, I'd also like to touch on the report content. If you've used the PC version of GDP, you'll notice that this is the exact same report you get from that version. The application is driven by the same back-end software and data as well. On the report, we have the header with customer and designer information. Below the header is the input section, displaying everything the designer fed into DF Pro to create this solution. Details of the selected solution are displayed below in the Selected Drive section. Important notes about this specific drive are listed at the bottom. I'll scroll to the next page and you'll see that, just like on the PC version of Design Power, the header, input, and notes sections are displayed again for reference, and we can see the tension section. Here, we're showing tension force, as well as details for checking tension via force deflection and our sonic tension meter. Just like the PC version, GDP Mobile allows for easy navigation of DF Pro reports. We also have the same options for working with DF Pro reports. Let's talk through those. Most of these are accessible from the hamburger-style menu button at the top, so I'll tap that and we'll go down the list. Customer information is where we can select and modify details for the top of the report. I've tapped the button and I can select from existing customers or create a new one. You'll see my selection applied to my report header. Under Drive Conditions, we can add notes about our drive's environment. I'm going to select Cold Environment because I know it gets chilly in Fairplay, Colorado, where our customer is located. We also have an important feature to highlight. On the Notes tab, you can add any custom note. I'll tap New Note and add that this is the lowest cost sync option for a replacement drive. Hit Save Note and you'll notice that it appears at the bottom of the report. Up next, we have a shortcut to the unit scheme in case you need to make any adjustments at this point. Next, we have the option to show or hide certain notes. Maybe this one isn't relevant to my customer, so I can remove it. Some notes cannot be removed. Moving on, we have some checkboxes allowing us to show and hide report elements. I'll flip all 4 of these, and once the report regenerates, we can see that we have drive cost listed next to the notes. Under Selected Drive, we no longer see noise or energy savings details, and if we scroll down to the tension section, we'll see a less detailed summary of tensioning info. Let's move on to the savings calculator. This is a tool to show the long-term cost savings of using a synchronous belt rather than a V-belt or roller chain drive. So, if I open that up, I'll just breeze through this quickly. Of course, these are all going to be some example inputs here, and the outputs will only be as good as the inputs. So I'll just fill in some numbers here for my cost of energy, how frequently the drive runs, and move on to the next screen here, which shows cost information already contained within Design Power's database. I'll move on to the next screen and select the belt I want to compare to. If you want to compare to a V-belt drive solution DF Pro has generated from the same inputs, you can do that here. I don't, so I'll enter the V-belt drive my customer has installed. Hit Next, and it will auto-populate the cost information for that drive. Then, I'm going to fill in some of my specifics about maintenance costs on this particular V-belt drive, hourly rate, how frequently we do all of that work, and any interruption to productivity. Hit Next, and I get a summary here, and then finish from there, and I'll see a nice professional report that I could present to the customer to show cost savings. Just like the drive detail report, you can export, print, share, etc. Make sure to do that, as currently these reports don't automatically save. Another useful tool to highlight, Print Label. Tap this button and you get a handy printout with critical drive details including part numbers and tension details. You can post this next to the drive to streamline maintenance and part replacement. Last thing to mention is the 4 buttons at the bottom, which generate a report for the next shorter, longer, narrower, or wider stock belt size. I'll tap Next Longer Belt and you'll see the report update to the next stock size. At the bottom of the report, we have 2 more buttons. On the left is the Add to Facility Management button. This is where I can change the name of the drive, which appears on the top of the report, and effectively save it. For more details on this, see our Facility Management How-To. And lastly, we can share the report via typical mobile sharing options, email, cloud storage, etc. You have all these tools at your disposal to tailor your output to specific drive or customer needs. Now that we've created a satisfactory report showing different drive replacement options, I'm going to demo another feature within DesignFlex Pro called Known Drive. Our customer's request for a replacement belt is a perfect example. We know all the details about the drive, and we're just looking for replacement parts or tensioning information, things like that. I'll select DesignFlex Pro and immediately hit that Clear button to deselect all belts. I know that we have 5V Super HC pulleys already installed, so I'll pick a matching belt product, and I can see some details about it here. Hit Apply, and move on to the driver inputs where I'll enter my 20 horsepower, 1750 RPM motor, and the customer's 7.1-inch driver pulley. Service factor, this is the same sawmill equipment and normal AC motor, running 8 to 16 hours a day. Hit Apply, and you'll see my V-belt service factor has been updated. I'll move on to drive detail, where I'll enter my center distance, as well as my tolerance of plus or minus 2 inches, and I'll swipe over to the driven inputs and enter the 16-inch pulley currently installed, and you'll see the speed has already updated. I don't have any more options to select, so I'll tap Design, and shown here is a drive meeting my requirements. I'll go ahead and tap that Printout button, and I'll bring up this report containing all the information the customer might need, including product numbers and tensioning information. I can share the report or add it to Facility Management. I would like to demonstrate one other feature within DesignFlex Pro, so I'll go back to my app home screen. Now I'd like to demonstrate our tension-only feature within DF Pro. So, for this example, let's assume that we had a technician at our lumber mill working on one of our belt-driven conveyor belts and had to disassemble the GT3 drive mechanism. Unfortunately, this technician forgot to record the tension. No problem, we can look everything up here in DesignFlex Pro using a tension-only product. This feature is useful if you're working with a product that Gates no longer makes. We do still support it here with tension specifications within our software tools. I'll tap DesignFlex Pro. Again, I'll hit Clear and select belts. I'll tap Tension Only, expand Power Grip GT3 and check 8M. Again, just a previous generation product for us. This belt is 1760 millimeters long. Of course, I'm just making all of this up, but we'll pretend the customer provided all of this. 20 millimeters wide. I'll close the belt selection window and enter 10 horsepower motor. This one happens to spin at 870, and they told me it uses a 30-tooth driver. Let's double check that service factor. In this case, we are looking at a conveyor piece of equipment on the driven side. Again, normal AC motor, 8 to 16 hours a day is about right. I'll tap apply, and once again, my synchronous belt service factor has been updated. I'm going to jump over to the driven side, as they told me they have a 90-tooth driven pulley. I'll type that in, and you'll see everything else has automatically populated, including speed and, on the other tab, center distance details. No advanced options to enter here, so I will tap Design, and I'll note here I do have 2 tabs up at the top. This just happens when perhaps a drive is over or under-designed, and DF Pro is recommending something a little different than what was previously entered. We could let the customer know that, but in this case, they want to reinstall their current belt, so we can do that here under Entered Drive, no problem. Tap the Printout button, and this will give our customer everything they need. Under Rated Load, we do show tension only, but that's okay. They're already happy with the performance of this belt and want to continue using it for the rest of its life. So, they have all the details down here that they'll need to retension that drive and get back up and running. With that, we've reached the end of our training on DesignFlex Pro within Gates Design Power Mobile. Thank you for your interest in Gates and our software tools. In the description, you'll find links to other Design Power training and how-to videos, and email addresses for software and product application engineering support. There's also a bonus link to a short video highlighting a collaboration with a Gates customer using our products in their lumber mill, as shown earlier in this video. As always, if you have any app questions, feedback, or concerns as you're working with these tools in Design Power Mobile, reach out to gatesdesignsoftwaresupport at gates.com. For belt drive technical assistance, contact ptpasupport at gates.com. Thanks, and enjoy Gates Design Power Mobile.